All right, cool. Yo, 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 what's happening, people? It's your Ears to the Road. I say team, it's me and producer Ryan,
What's
but Ears
happening?
to the
Right.
Road team. Um, Back at you, man. Quarantine content. Try saying that when you had a couple of glasses of wine.
That's right. Stay in your fucking ass.
um, yeah, man, and we're back with Grimy Reality in My Ends edition of Ears to the Road podcast, and we have got someone in the building who I am so excited to speak to, and just have a proper grime geeky conversation. And yeah, man. So would you like to introduce yourself, sir?
Yes. So my name's Tom, and then I run an Instagram called Grime White Labels with a Z. And that is basically an insight into my record collection, my 17-year itch with grime records and all the white labels and everything in between. And yeah, something that I launched a year ago, just on a sitting at home like one weekend, and then I was just like, I started pulling out records, and obviously you can't, I used to play these records out, and I just was like, oh, this is a tune. And then I was just like, I wanted to post it on my personal page, and I was just like, so many people wouldn't get it. So I was like, you know what? I know a couple people who would. So I just posted it. Actually, I started the account in secret. I didn't even tell my mates or anything.
Ashamed.
Yeah, it's kind of like, and then my wife actually found it, and she was like, have you got a secret Instagram account?
That could cause so many problems.
And then I was like, yeah. And it's the nerdiest thing you could ever admit to. It's not like I was like chirping or anything like that. It's literally me and a bunch of grime nerds talking about, I don't know, like all these weird little stories and just this funny little scene, especially like especially like the early stuff, which is what I specialize in, like 2002 to about 2007, like that golden era. But yeah, that's me.
Wicked. Well, from my perspective, I appreciate your page so much. And you've probably seen, like, every so often I'll go to bed really late because I'm scrolling through Instagram, and like your page and other pages that are out there, I'll scroll through and have a proper little grime nerd out and comment and like, and you probably wake up with like 500 notifications from the Ears to the Road account saying this one's a tune, and I remember when blah 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 about this rhythm and all of this stuff. So I appreciate your account, man.
Yeah, it's mad actually. Like I'll go to bed and stuff, and then I'll wake up, and then like some tunes like no one kind of like gets interested with.
Yeah.
And then like some tunes I'll wake up and there'll be like 40 comments on it, and it's all, I mean, it's all people like us, man. Like it's either like a massive nostalgia trip, like people haven't heard that tune for 10 years,
Yeah.
or like people are telling me more about that tune or pulling me up on stuff I didn't know.
Of course.
Which I'm not like a grime godfather. Like I know a lot, but I don't know, like I'm not from Hackney or anything like that. I didn't know any of the guys like growing up or anything like that. So my story is kind of different.
So where are you from? Where do you come from?
Where I'm from. So I'm from Bristol originally.
Okay. Shout out Bristol.
Big up Bristol.
Big up Bristol. Southwest is best. And then, yeah, so from Bristol. And then I guess like my story with grime is that I went to uni in Nottingham. And that's where I started to learn, me and my best mate, we started to learn how to DJ.
Okay.
So we would have been like 19, 20.
Okay. What sort of time was this?
So that's like 2001, 2002.
Okay.
Why did you start to DJ? What was the inspiration?
I think like me and him, we were just like huge music fans. Like grime is like one part of music that I love. Like in the 90s, like me and him were like massively into like boom bap 90s rap and all that sort of stuff. Mobb Deep, all that Wu-Tang, all that sort of stuff.
Illmatic and
yeah, like all that sort of stuff. And then And then we were also into like, well, we were just into all sorts of genres. And I don't know kind of how it started. We just started collecting all the hip hop records and all the stuff that we maybe couldn't afford. We would like, I'm 39, so like 2000, 2001, I'm like 20. And then what happened? So yeah, we just started collecting records. And then what happened was actually, there was a new club that had opened in Nottingham. And I was...
Remember the name of the club?
Yeah, the club was called Rescue Rooms.
Rescue Rooms.
Which was part of a complex, which I talked to you about, which is like Stealth,
yeah.
Rescue Rooms.
I've done a gig there.
Yeah. And it was part of this, like, it's owned by a company called DHP, which is a massive promotions company.
Yeah.
And they basically like ran Nottingham and had all the best venues. And they had just opened up this new venue. And I remember going up to the promoter on the first weekend, like, I think like drunk with confidence, being like, you should give, like, it was a Saturday night and it just opened. So no one was really there. It was kind of empty. And I went up to him and I was like, you should give, we know what we're doing. You should give a night to me and my mate. We'll smash this. Like, we'll like turn this place around, like just full of like vodka confidence or something. And I think I like thrust my like mobile number in his hand. And then I just thought nothing of it. And then the following Friday, he calls me and he was just like, we've got no one for this one room in the club. Do you want to put a night on? Tomorrow. I had never DJ'd. Never. My mate Jay, he was way more talented than me, had a better record collection, all that sort of stuff. So I call him up on the Friday night. I was like, bro, we're doing this slot on Saturday night. We've got the whole room to ourselves, 10 till 3. And we were just like, I think he had been taking lessons and stuff. This is all turned to, like, CDJs didn't really exist.
Yeah, of course, 1210s at this time.
Yeah, so I was like, we're doing it tomorrow. And then we just like rolled up with like every record that we possibly owned, which is like every genre. Like, I think I even had Beatles records in there and like, or just like everything.
So did you have Grime in your collection at this point?
No, this is 2001.
So not even Garage or... Yeah, it's not even there. Bear in mind, we're in Nottingham, we're not in London. So like Grime and I guess like the things that were going on in London takes back then it took time to travel north. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? We were like, it was really behind. So he was a better DJ. So we rolled up and we just played tunes and we kind of, I don't know if we smashed, in retrospect, if I look back on it now, it was probably like a shit show and it was full of clangers and all that. But I think we just brought like so many vibes that we were just like, boom. And then from that night, we got a monthly residency. Oh, wicked.
So I learned how to DJ like there and then, like in
work experience.
Couldn't even go home and learn. Like, I had to learn in this venue. So, which was mad. And so we do like half an hour or an hour, like, I mean, rap, it was mainly like hip hop and stuff.
Yeah.
And like the jiggier stuff and all that sort of stuff and bits in between. And then we would kind of do a bit of drum and bass and a couple of like classic jungle bits and just like some 80s bits, like just open format in the true style. And I think as the years went on, there's a clear moment when we discovered grime and we tried to start playing grime, and never has a room cleared so quickly as when I think one of his first records he bought was like Chronic, Blaze More Than You.
Wow.
Blaze More Than You.
That tune I don't even think is mastered. And I think he also had he had the straight rhythm with like a crazy titch vocal, all the freestyles on.
Yeah.
None of those are mastered. So like,
I've got that.
Oh, you got that, yeah.
4-tracker one.
Yeah, the 4-tracker. Like
Shizzle, who else is on that? Shizzle, Nappa, JME. I had 2. I'm sure there was 2 4 tracks, and Jamaica B, I think, had one.
Yeah.
Crazy Titch. Yeah, I've got that vinyl.
It's not master or anything. So the levels are fucked.
Yeah,
Grime didn't know what mastering was. Most of those beats are made in people's bedrooms.
Yeah, totally. And like Tings and Boots is not mastered and all that sort of stuff. We were so into it. We were so into it that we were just like, well, we're just so when the night opened, we sort of play half an hour at the very beginning. And honestly, people were just like, what the fuck is this noise? And it wasn't like, we're not talking about like a Function One sound system either. It's not that deep at that time. You know, this is like a 160 cap venue with a kind of basic sound system, but enough to have like a good rave. And then, so that's kind of where we used to, and we plugged away.
That is a hard sell.
We
You're playing grime instrumentals.
Not that, and well, no, actually, I think we were playing like vocals.
You play vocals as well?
Yeah, we were playing. We weren't doing instrument because I remember I was the first. So I remember Dizzy coming out, and I remember like Fix Up Look Sharp.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I really liked it. Like I liked it because people liked it, so we used to play it out, and that's 2003. The first tune that made me go like, like I'm into this was What You Call It.
Okay.
And I bought that in FOP.
In FOP?
In FOP, which was like this little indie it's now owned by HMV. There's not many left. There's like 6 left. And it was this kind of, they did really well because back then they just had like really cheap CDs. And all that sort of stuff, and I had a really small vinyl collection. I remember it in the sale, and I think it was like $1.99. And
so is this up in Nottingham?
Yeah, this is Nottingham. So this is, I didn't move to London until beginning of 2006.
Because I do remember there was a shop. So how did you get a hold of your grime? Because I've been to Nottingham, I think 2 times on like little grime missions, and I can't remember the name of the shop, but there was like a shop that done like grime or whatever. It's like in an indoor market. That's the only thing I can think of in the town centre.
Whoa.
I can't remember what it's called.
I can't remember what that's called, but so there was a couple of record stores. That, I can't believe you're referencing that. That's deep. That, I think, was only open for a year.
Okay.
And it was a tiny little thing in this little indoor market. Sort of out of the town centre. And these, I don't know, we didn't really know them, but some local guys, and they had like a small stack. I can't remember what else they used to sell. To be honest, we weren't interested in anything else but grime.
Yeah.
And then they used to get the white labels. But we used to drive down. We used to take like road trips down, stay like friends in Bethnal Green, go to Rhythm Division, Lewisham, and Black Market, all that sort of stuff. And we would literally go round on a weekend I mean, that's expensive as well, you know?
Oh, of course it is.
So I think that my first record was that, and then my second record was Wonder What, which is still my like top 5 favorite beats.
It's an incredible beat.
Yeah, and I got that on white label, which was pretty sweet.
And then Dizzy Rascal done the version. Was it Respect Me?
Showtime.
For Showtime. Wow. Like so some of your, like, I've never seen the vinyl of Stop That. Like, you posted that today, didn't you? On your Instagram. And I haven't actually seen the vinyl. Like, I've never personally seen it. Like, you've got some real gems, man. Some real gems. Like, what's like gems. If you can pick like 5 records that you own,
okay,
that you don't have to think too hard about it, but like that like the songs that make you go wow, the vinyls.
So the ones in my collection?
Yeah, the ones in your collection, like your favorites.
Prized possessions almost.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. That's such a deep, I can't tell you the panic that's going on in my mind right now, having to pick. Some guy commented yesterday, I posted like Stop That, which is like top 5 favorite beats. And this guy was like, yeah, that's in my like top 3. And I said to him, I was like, I mean, bear in mind, like my top 5, there's like 100 beats. Like Oh, you're just pranging me out right now.
No, all right, cool. Think about
No,
it.
I could do it. No, I can do it. Like the
No.
first one that comes to mind is like Joyride, which is Slew
Yeah.
Them and Spooky.
Spooky. Yep, love that.
That was always like a massive favorite of mine. I think
or the instrumental.
I mean, the beat is like in my top 5. Yeah, it's just amazing, and I think all of the whole tune is amazing. Which Wiley? Oh my God. I love Eskimo 4. Oh God, there's so much Wiley. Trim, Boogeyman, The Lowdown is like a massive favorite of mine. Oh, actually, easily, the When I'm Here. The When I'm Here final instrumental, which has got the Danny Weed, and then on the flip, it's got Wiley's version of that.
Yeah, I'm with that. I think
that's his remix of When I'm Here is just.
And what is that? The one with is that just the instrumental, or the vocal one with like Skepta and Tinchy Strider?
I don't have the vocal. I didn't know if they've got that on, but I don't know if they pressed that.
So that was the single then. Yeah, that was I think that was the actual single because I got that from HMV. I didn't get that from anywhere special. Big up producer Ryan's phone. It's his birthday, so we let him off.
Destruction VIP.
Great tune.
That's like one of my top 3 favorite tunes ever. I would argue that's the best grime vocal tune.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily argue.
Johnny Cash is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Johnny Cash doesn't really make bad tunes.
I can't think of many.
Creeper,
yeah.
Oh, actually, I don't know how much props this get. Da Vinci and Jammer with K-Dot from Essentials.
K-Dot. That is, do you know what? Yeah. I love that tune.
Yeah.
I think I've got like the test press or something of that.
Bongo Eyes, Boss Man. That's another massive.
Great tune.
That beat is insane. The Wonder did that tune with Kano, What Have You Done?
I don't think I know that one.
You do know that one. You'll know that one. I posted that one. That's kind of, I mean, it's not a dubstep tune, but it sort of straddles the line.
We'll talk about dubstep in a little while as well.
Yeah. Anyway,
once we get a little deeper into the conversation. Yeah, that was my fault. I took us away from your story. So yeah, you're plugging away this night, and yeah.
So we're plugging away at this night, and then I guess like 2003, 2000, let's say 2004, we're playing. We're trying to play grime, and it's like PAL's come out now. So we could play grime, and we could play 6 songs, I reckon, that people wouldn't leave for. Sing Along, Crazy Titch, PAL, What Do You Call It, I Love You, like another Lethal B, like No or something. You know, like if we're talking just the mainstream tunes, like your regular person, they wouldn't leave for that. And so we just, every month we play this night, and we just extend it, and then things start like bubbling. Like mid 2004, people now can't start coming specifically for that early hour. They know that at like 10 till 11 or 11 to 12 or whatever it was, we were going to play like grime, and so more and more guys just started turning up, and they started hearing. Nottingham's not a big place. No. You know what I mean? Like word spreads, and so we basically got more and more people coming up just for that first hour.
Yeah, because you're basically playing the stuff out that they're listening to on Channel U or 100%. Whatever it was at the time. So I can imagine. So what was the general, like, so you're saying people started turning up, and I know it was a long time ago, but what sort of numbers, like were people loving it? What was the feeling? Because obviously I was in London, so I know what people thought about grime in London, but in Nottingham, I don't really know at that time.
No, and we weren't, you know, like we were students. Do you know what I mean? Like this
Yeah.
is we were playing student nights. Do you know, like
Yeah.
so this is like 18, 19-year-olds and all that sort of stuff. It wasn't like a massively like underground club or anything like that. And I think the thing that really we'll probably get onto like dubstep and stuff, but when dubstep came out, that really changed energies in clubs.
Yeah.
Like that I think that was the big switch. I think that we tried to do a couple of nights where we went to other clubs in Nottingham just to do. We created a brand called Grime Watch or something like that.
Yeah.
And we tried to do just a grime night for like 4 hours, just grime. And they just fell on their ass, fell on their ass. But so what happened is that about 2005, 2006, there was a little crew of us who all loved grime, and then we decided to like come together and form like a little DJ collective, which we called Tomb Crew. And we were just like, let's just all just DJ together, and we'll just be this open format DJ where we wouldn't just play grime, we would play like jungle and rap and just loads of just aggy music, but of every genre. And then what happened is that there's a little festival. This was the big thing, actually. There's a little festival in Nottingham called Dot to Dot, and it was where there was 6 venues, and each venue you bought 1 ticket and you had access to 6 venues.
Okay, yeah.
And we got given money by the promoters to book our own day, and we booked Rough Squad, Skepta, JME, Jammer.
Ooh.
No, who did we book? No, we initially booked Boy Better Know. So this is early 2007.
Yeah.
So Frisco and Skepta and JME turned up. I think we might have booked Jammer as well. And then when they all rolled up, like Chronic came, Slicks was there, and we put on a legitimate, like serious grime lineup. And the place it was just, I'll send you some pictures. I've got some pictures.
Yeah, definitely.
This place was tiny, like 100 people. And the place just got absolutely shut down. And that's kind of where and then by that point, we had moved down to London. And it's weird because in many ways, like 2007, you could argue that's when sort of grime starts petering out. But actually, there's a huge amount of tunes then. Sidewinder's kicking off still.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like Sidewinder could do loads of things in the weird places like Watford and Swindon and stuff like that. And then that dubstep thing happened as well. So we could do a set where we're just drawing for everything.
Yeah.
And because when you're a DJ and you aren't connected to MCs, we didn't know any guys. Do you know what I mean? Like
you could play anything. You wasn't thinking about have my crew got beef with that crew. You just,
mate, we were green, you know, like we didn't, you know, we had like a couple of mates who were MCs and stuff like that, but more like hosts.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And we just wanted to put on parties that had like mosh pits and.
Well, this is the interesting thing because I was a DJ myself. Same time I started when I was DJing when I was 15, out in clubs by 16, and obviously I was surrounded by grime, so I had grime records for days. And we weren't really allowed to play the music you're saying that you're playing. So when you told me you were playing in Nottingham, which had a reputation of being shot in them at the time, sounds like you were getting away with murder. You said you thought the energy changed when dubstep was there. Did you ever see an energy shift when you started playing more grime? You said more people started coming out, more mandem, and it was more like. Did you ever feel the negative side of it where it was a bit like, oh shit, this is a bit left?
Honestly, no. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think We were just like regular nerdy fans. Do you know what I mean? We were not like the clubs we were playing were not known. They weren't like the clubs that were like urban clubs or whatever you want to call it. They weren't that. They were like house clubs and techno clubs, like this venue that I'm talking about, which is where it all started. You know, like they weren't, you know, it wasn't that part of town. So like people did come, but I think it was like that environment, it just didn't elicit that sort of negative reaction. So we only saw, actually really saw like positive energy. Like it's clubs, there's fights and stuff like that, but never once were we ever told not to play like POW or we had license to do whatever.
That's a blessing.
And the clubs we had had pretty serious bouncers, to be honest. So like we were on the right side of them, so it was pretty regulated. So I'm blessed for that. Do you know what I mean? There was never late. Actually, I still DJ now and all that sort of stuff. And you know what? Like I think I'm not down with that bad rap stuff because I never saw it really.
Yeah.
I really never saw it. And even when it came back in 2015, 2016, 2017, and I had a venue in London called Birthdays in Dalston.
Yeah, I know Birthdays.
And I was one of the main promoters there, and I put on everyone there. And really, it was always still fine. Because like when you look up at the DJ booth, you're seeing like dorky white dudes. I got glasses on. Do you know what I mean? Like it
probably doesn't seem as threatening.
Do you know what I mean? I'm like the least threatening person ever, and we're just doing it to have a good time. And like, there's not really, we don't know anyone, and we're just pure fans. And also there was like 5 of us, and we'll be just jumping on each other because we'd just be so hyped. We used to like sneak. We all used to come together and we used to like sneak the records that we bought in, and we used to put the records on and shelter, like lean over so no one could see.
See what they're called.
So you're just like, and so you put a tune on and everyone would be like, what are you putting on? You're just like, you don't know what I'm putting on.
Yeah, because I would be that annoying person in the crowd that's looking at what the DJ, like when I'm in a rave, right, I stand next to the DJ booth, and my whole night is basically showing the DJ that I appreciate the DJ.
Yeah.
Because I am, like, I say I'm a DJ. I used to DJ. Like, I started DJing grime when I was about 14, 15 or whatever. But I'm no longer a DJ. But I appreciate DJs and I love DJ. And I think DJs are so underrated, especially if you was a DJ before the internet made everything near enough free.
Oof. Preach. Yeah, man. You know how much
£7 a vinyl.
You don't know how much money these things cost, man.
£7 a vinyl minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I know I started to get to know distributors, so I can get them for £3 for wholesale price rather than the sell or return price of £7 or £8 or £10 or however much they decided they want to sell certain songs for. But yeah, man, it's really interesting to hear like the perspective from in Nottingham, because I think that's the whole premise and the whole purpose of this podcast. You are like the perfect guest, because we kind of all know the London story, but the out of London story is interesting. Because what I want to know is then, so you didn't have access to pirate radio the same as we did. So how did you kind of know what was hot, what wasn't? Because I know when I was buying vinyls, I just wanted to be able to buy the tunes that Carnage and Spyro and Maximum were playing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we did not, I don't remember listening. Was even YouTube around in 04? No, YouTube wasn't around. No. what we used to, I remember doing mail order mixtape packs. I used to buy. What was I?
Sidewinders and stuff.
Yeah, I had like the Sidewinders, and there was another one. What was it called? Street anthems, something like
That sounds familiar-ish.
like there was anyway, there was like a bunch. There was a bunch of mixtapes I used to just get on like eBay and stuff.
Okay, what? So it is like DJs like spinning just like the latest tunes or whatever.
Yeah, like hosting and just, and then I remember getting the first one when it was like Dizzy versus Crazy and
Okay, yeah.
and all that sort of stuff. And then I used to get one like every couple of weeks. I remember like first hearing Bruiser and being just like, "Whoa, who's this guy?" I remember first hearing like Have Some of That and just being like, "What is this? This is mad." That's when like proper like that kind of like geezery, like geezer grime, that sort of like what?
Yeah, all right, but yeah. Because you had, was it Fender from South
from like Southside.
Yeah, from Southside. And then obviously I suppose that kind of comes from like Mike Skinner in the streets or whatever.
I mean, those Run the Roads, man. Like
Run the Roads.
We
good,
ate
man.
Run the Roads. Like that first, those two CDs are just essential.
Yeah, like the funny thing is though, like for me personally, I couldn't really afford Run the Road, but because I had radio, I was still hearing the songs and all the. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I can't really imagine what it'd been like being out of London and what my life would actually be like without it, because my life revolves around grime.
The best thing, there's a couple of things that happened that stick in my memory. So we used to come down. And then once we discovered it, we were like hungry for it. And no one was going to come up to, like no MCs were going to come up to Nottingham because no one's going to book them. We knew all the promoters. No one's going to book Wiley or Jammer or anything like that. It's like 05, 06. So we used to come down to London. And then I remember there was a night called Dirty Canvas.
Yeah, no, Dirty Canvas, yep.
And we went to one of the first ones, which was in an art, not the ICA, it was in an art gallery in Whitechapel.
Yep, I was there. Was I? I went to a Dirty Canvas. Yeah, it was just past the hospital. Yeah.
Yeah. It was with It was an Ears and Nole showcase.
No, I wasn't at that.
And Nole did like Unorthodox Daughter, which is a tune, and then Ears was there, and then Ears. I loved Ears as well.
He's so good.
Yeah, and and it was literally, there's no stage. It was just in this art gallery. Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck? And we were kind of in a semicircle, and I don't know, there's maybe like 50 people there. And my mates are standing opposite me. And they start looking at me like really mad and like kind of pointing with their eyes to kind of look to my like right. And I was like, what are you on about? Just kind of like staring at them, being like, what? And I remember like turning around and then like Wiley just being next to me. And it was like a mirage. I almost was just like, I thought it just was like, be cool, and just pivoted around and just looked straight and didn't even acknowledge it. I think that like the DVD culture, like we like Practice Hours, that was massive.
Yeah.
Risky Roads. Oh man, it's hard to explain. Like they just didn't seem real to us. So when we properly thought that they were, I know that they were celebrities in like their respective areas, but they were like proper celebrities to us. I mean,
oh yeah, of course.
I like Wiley is still my like number one, however how crazy it's been. And since then, I've tried to work with Wiley and book him for shows, and he's not turned up to my shows and all this sort of stuff, obviously. But like, I still have like. There's something amazing about him still. And I remember that moment and I was like, what? And then Dirty Canvas moved to the ICA in Pall Mall next to Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And you talk to any like grime MC about like those ones where you're in this corridor of this art gallery and like everyone's there and oh my God.
Yeah, no, I remember Dirty Canvas. I remember I've been to so many things in London. I suppose it's like a thing. I can't remember, but I remember being invited or the advert or something, or supposed to have gone, but I'm sure I did go to a Dirty Canvas. I can't remember.
It's
But
mad because it was just like literally in like a hallway, and it was so basic setup, and you could fit maybe like 70 people in there. It was like
yeah.
hot as hell. And then every month they used to do it. And I think like
So
they
is this
tried,
once you moved to London then? So
yeah,
you
this is '06 now. So we're in London. We've moved
okay.
we've moved to London Fields. And then,
Okay.
so all of us have moved down.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, like '07 is when, '06, '07 is, I think, when promoters outside of the scene were happy to book grime MCs.
Yeah.
So there was another small festival, which is where King's Cross used to be, like the old Cross Keys.
Yeah.
And there was a festival called TDK. And it was like this, it was an indie festival and a dance festival. It had like Hot Chip and things like that. And it had another stage, which was just grime. And it was, again, it was like Rough Squad, Jammer, Skepta.
Rough Squad are really underrated, by the way.
Yeah, and it was all of them. I remember like, and I remember that night because Jammer stole my glasses. And he tried to and he tried to run away with them. And he had sunglasses on, so he took my eyewear glasses because I can't see anything, and he took them. I think because they were a brand. I think they were like something, and he took them, and then he gave me his like sunglasses, and then at the end of the stage, just like walked off, and I was like, I had to like run after him, and he was just like, no.
that sounds like Java, to be fair. But yeah, man. So you come to London now, and so you are now kind of in the scene now, isn't it? Really, like you are at the home. So you like now, like putting on nights in London, or you just a fan in London? Still buy music? I'm sure you're still probably buying music because your collection shows that. But yeah, so what's up? So now you're down in London.
Yeah, so we were like this kind of like DJ unit, team crew and stuff, and that started to blow up. That started to do really well. And what happened? Some people, some of the guys started to do it more full time as their job.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started to sort of what am I on about? This is like dubstep era. This is like 07, 08. This is like Forward with Plastic People and stuff.
So this is where I feel like we properly connected on one of your posts. Because you played a tune from Forward, a dubstep tune. What tune was it?
Koki.
Yeah. And that was amongst my first raving experiences. So I'm a bit younger than you. I'm 32 this year. Cool, blimey. I'm 32 this year. And I was about 16, 17 at this time. So not really old enough to go out. So Forward, I used to get in like underage, like 17 or whatever. And that place in Plastic People on Curtain Road, that was just like a grime kid's dream, because there was just A-list grimers, grime MCs and grime people just walking around casually. But you all have to use the same bar. There's no VIP section. And when they're on the mic or behind the decks, you are literally standing meters away from like, who were my heroes, innit? So yeah, man, that place was epic.
Yeah, I think it's probably hard to explain because it was so small and so low, and it was like really loud, but you could still speak to the person next to you, whatever, on a level, and not have to raise your voice, but your whole face is just like vibrating.
Yeah, you definitely saw me in there. Like, definitely, I definitely saw you. Like, obviously, it was a long time ago, but I was there pretty much every single Friday.
That's to assume that there's light in there. There was no light in there, man.
Yeah, because you walk down the stairs, innit? So you queue up, and you basically go into this little narrow doorway, and even just going up and down the stairs, you don't know who you're bumping into, because obviously Genius and Sarah used to run it. So Genius and Sarah are just there as you're going in or whatever. And you go down the stairs, and then it's got this little bar area, and it's like a little congregation in the curtain.
Mad.
And then like you pull away the curtain, and it's just this exposed brickwork with like pillars in the middle of the place, and it's just dark. And in like the far corner, there's like a light, where the DJ booth is, and
It's literally like a desktop lamp. Do you know what I mean? It's literally like a little 80s thing with a curve in.
yeah, it's that, and then it's just, oh man, that place. Like, and it was a dubstep night, but dubstep and grime kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah,
Like,
for that period.
yeah,
Yeah, I think like dubstep's got like a different sort of connotation now. But
yeah.
for those like
I
two,
blame Skrillex.
yeah, Skrillex and all that sort of stuff. And but those like 4 years, particularly for dubstep, were just. I think that like there's loads of interesting things that goes on with music. So at the end of about 2009, 2010, I think it starts. I think that starts dying, and like house comes in, and I literally think house kills everything. I think what we noticed as like massively hyped DJs is that we noticed that was just a trend, and people didn't seem to want to like just do screw faces and just be like waiting for drops and all that sort of fun stuff, which grime and which dubstep and Bali funk and like UK funky and stuff, all that sort of stuff.
Oh, funky's great.
Yeah, funky's amazing. And then I think house killed it, and it kind of killed it for me too, because I don't like house. I don't like garage. Like, I'm not.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
That's really strange. Like, because most people who love grime end up at grime via garage. So that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't like garage. Still don't like it. I'll retract that. Like at that time, I got into grime from listening to rap, and I'm attracted to aggressive music. Like I listen to, like, I love metal, I love punk, I love 90s rap. It's aggressive. It's just full of attitude and stuff like that. And I remember when I was like 99, seeing like Oxide and Neutrino and being like, I hate garage, but I'm feeling this.
Okay, because that was going to be my next question. How do you feel about So Sonic Crew? Because they weren't quite garage, they wasn't quite grime, they were the bridge. So
So like, I think so, like So Solid changed everything. I think like, so all this kind of, it just wasn't my life. Like I just wasn't my life. Like I didn't wear designer clothes. I didn't come from that. None of my mates love that. So,
and you're not
like,
from London as well.
Not from London. Not part of any sort of Sunday garage club. And I didn't grow up on house. My brothers didn't grow up on house.
So let's take it back then. So, like a young Tom back home in Bristol, with family. You say you got brothers. So they big brothers?
I'm in the middle.
Oh, you're in the middle. So so what's like your parents and your brothers, or your brother playing in the house? Like, what is like your first memories of music?
First memories of music. I think if you've got an older brother, and who's into music, they massively infiltrate and give you the beginnings.
Of course.
So he was really into, I guess, like metal, heavy metal.
Yeah, cool.
And I used to be fascinated by the artwork. So there's a band called Iron Maiden, and it had this, it's got this character called Eddie. And I remember being like 7, 8 years old and just being fascinated by this like gory sort of horror character. And
I know the logo.
Yeah, it's sick. And then so I massively got into that and the storytelling and all that sort of stuff. And then probably it got to about 93. And then Cypress Hill came out, Snoop, Protect Your Neck, Wu-Tang. And I was like massively like, whoa, what's this? But still like metal music and aggressive music.
So is this still your brother's influences at this time?
My brother initially.
Yeah.
And then I just.
So what age do you reckon that you started to get your own musical personality?
9.
That's a...
I was, the grime collection is only like an 1/8 of my record collection.
Shit, son.
Yeah, because I've got like this, if not more, hip hop albums, if not more like punk records, if not more like hardcore metal records and stuff like that. So like I was collecting records. I think my first record was like a David Bowie record. I used to love David, but I still love David Bowie. And then it just, I just always bought records. Always bought vinyl. So yeah, by the time I was 13, I had like, I don't know, 50.
Do you remember the first song you ever bought on vinyl?
The first thing I bought on vinyl. It's probably something like, there was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, a movie that came out, I guess, late 80s, early 90s. And it had a song called Partners in Crime with a K. And that was,
unknown, but yeah.
I
might know if I heard it.
And it's kind of like a proto hip hop tune, I guess.
Yeah.
I bought that. Something like Do the Bartman.
Yeah, that's a great song, by the way.
Like Do the Bartman, something like that. I mean, it's not like, none of it's like cool in inverted commas.
No, the Do the Bartman was cool.
Okay. And then it kind of started from there, really.
So it's just like begging like your parents for a couple of £3 to go down to like the local record shop. And...
Oh man, we had like next to my school there was a record store, and I had like maybe like enough money to buy one thing every 3-4 weeks.
Yep.
And I remember buying things and then buying it and maybe not liking it and being so sad, but then having to just listen to it until I liked it because I spent all that money. This is like anyone that's listening who's in there, like who's 20, doesn't
who remembers life before, was it not BearShare, what was that thing called? Napster.
Oh, yeah, Napster and all that sort of LimeWire and all that sort of stuff. So that's kind of where it all started. And then, I was just vinyl, always vinyl. I don't know quite why. There was a period when it kind of stopped. But yeah, I don't think I even bought my first CD till like 98 or something. So
wow,
CDs were too expensive. Records were cheaper.
Yeah,
so that
makes sense. And if you had so did you just have like one turntable like for all of this time until you kind of went up to Nottingham?
Pretty much. Like I said, I didn't, even when we were DJing, I didn't have turntables at home.
Okay.
So we were literally learning on the job. Bear in mind, like my best mate Jay, he was way better than me, so he definitely he propped me up. But then I sort of was in many ways I was like the promoter and the organizer and all that sort of stuff. So
sometimes you need talent, sometimes you need the people to do the other things to make things work. A bit like me and Ryan.
Yes.
I'm the talent and Ryan makes it work.
I was gonna say the other way around. But what was I gonna say? So Tom, have you ever thought about like not legitimizing your collection, but officiating your collection? Like, okay, so this is the actual grime collection now. This is in a book somewhere as being the biggest collection. You ever thought about being a legit collector of grime records?
You know what? Since I started this, I don't think that I've got like a nice collection, no doubt. Cool. Yeah. But man, there's some people who I talk to who I've met through like Instagram and stuff who put me to shame. Like I think probably like Spooky or someone is probably the one. But there's a couple of guys out there who maybe aren't even DJs still. Like I don't come from dubplate culture. And there's people out there who are like sending me like dub plates, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this? This is unbelievable. My collection, you can, if you had the money and time, you could cop it. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing in there that. There's also records that have gone up to like stupid value or whatever, hundreds of pounds and all that sort of stuff, and I'm not into that. But I think it's good, man. But boy, like if Spooky did what I did, the grime. If he did a post today like I do, we could be here till 2025.
Yeah, Spooky is next level. Like his encyclopedic knowledge of grime is and he's not really spoken about. Like he's not really spoken about. But Spooky is, man. Like I know some people that know him very, very well, and Spooky is a champion.
Yeah. So I think that like, you know, like I document and all my collections on like Discogs and all that sort of stuff, like the vinyl platform and things like that. So, and I still pick up bits. I'm not a guy that's going to pay 50 quid for a record.
Yeah.
I was paid $6.99, $7.99 for most of these. I think most money I've spent is maybe like 13, 14 quid. I just can't, A, I don't have the money, and B, I just can't be,
That's my problem at the moment, because I have lost a fair few records. Like I DJ'd, and I don't think I really understood the value of what I had
100%.
as like a young man or whatever. And I used to DJ at a youth club, and I used to teach like younger kids how to DJ and whatever. And then one week I went to the youth club, my records was there. The next week I went to the youth club, and the youth club no longer existed. And yeah, that's so a lot of my grime that had instrumentals have all gone. Like my Ghetto Coyote's gone. My favorite song. I was so happy when I got that vinyl, man. But yeah, so quite a lot.
Yeah,
of
my one, that's
vinyl.
a special one of mine, and the one I've got is mint as well. Like,
because it's just a one track, isn't it? It's just the one that I've got. Yeah, it's just one track, nothing on the B side. It's just
Sorry to jump in, Tom. I'll give you £200. No, sorry. I'll give you £1,000. I say, right, the one record that you want in your collection, that you've wanted in your collection, you can go and get that right now. What is the record that you would drop that money on? And after that question, I've got another one for you.
Oh my God. What would it be? I have to edit my silence while I think of 1,000 things. It would be a Wiley record. As soon as I say something, I'm just going to listen back and just be like, why'd you say that? Avalanche, I don't own Avalanche. I love Colder.
Colder's, yeah.
Fire Hydrant, like either Wiley's version or Jammers, I still don't own.
Not even, there was like an EP of that.
Yeah.
Like with the original Merkel Man on it.
Yeah. Fire Hydrant EP.
Yeah, Fire Hydrant. I lost that fucking. Anyway.
There seems to be like, there's a lot of art. There's some artists that I have where I have every single record.
Yeah.
So I have like every Rough Squad record.
It's not a bad collection to have every record.
I've got like most of Slew Dams. I've got a lot of Wiley. But I don't have, there's a couple of like JME records. I don't have. Oh my God, man, that's just.
Well, yeah, I'll let you just simmer with that one. But to follow up, is there a record that you've lost? Because I'm a DJ myself, and listening to Marcus talk about the youth club was there and then it wasn't. I lent records to a friend, and he left them lent up against the radiator.
Had that.
So when I got them back, it's like,
whoa.
Is there some music?
Oh man, yeah. I had it was a Wiley What You Call It, which is not an expensive record. You can like buy that wherever.
Yeah.
And I remember it got left at, you have like a bunch of records, right? And you leave the club and then 3 months later, you're just like, where is that record? And you just don't, I got a lot of stories like that. This one record, I knew I'd lost it at this night in Nottingham. Like 2-3 years go by, I go back to that club and I find it behind a radiator about 3 years later. And it's like, it's almost like shrunk like a prune or something. Like, I don't know what's happened to it. It was the most disrespectful thing I'd ever seen. It's not like a crazy expensive record, but it was just horrible. And then also I remember staying at someone's house after a DJ set, and the house or something got flooded, and my records were in my record bag, and like all of them got like wet, and some warped. And that's all like all sorts of genres and stuff like that. I remember waking up and just being like, oh my God, like the whole, like the apartment was all wet on the floor. And I was like, my records. And I got back and they're all just, not that a lot of the grime records have covers, but like,
Yeah.
I think my private caller Skeptical one is still warped to the day from that one. That's a top 5 private caller.
Yeah, man, absolute slaps.
Right.
And the B-side as well.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites.
Just a little, obviously, I've just I've got things written down here. You mentioned your wife earlier, and you said that got a secret Instagram page. Has she taken to grime through you? 'Cause I know that my partner, she got into anime just because I was watching it. She got, like, our son's named after a cartoon character because we watched it together. Yeah. Is there any grime music you connected on that she's like, you know, it's a little head bop, you're like, oh, okay.
So what, you know, we're in like quarantine and all this sort of stuff. And so I have to, when I play the tunes, I play them real loud so they just sound good on when people are listening to them. And like yesterday I was like, babe, I need like half an hour. I need half an hour in the lounge. And she has to go somewhere in the house and the house is just vibrating as I'm like, it's so nerdy. I'm just literally sitting over the turntables, just filming it on my phone. It's like, and then I'm just like, it's so loud, and the neighbors are probably like crying, and I'm just like having the best time ever. Like she's used to coming to see me DJ and coming to my clubs and stuff like that. She certainly doesn't like hate it.
Yeah.
But my wife's a cool chick, man. She's like a drummer in a metal band, and
so she gets it.
She's used to aggressive music. Whether I don't know if like we're making, you know, a nice dinner, and I'm like, oh, you know what, some like Sludem would go down really well while I'm marinating this thing. I don't know.
You know.
You know what I mean? Like, let's babe, what about some President T? It's not like that.
Because no, I get that, because I would always like, there is a lot of the energy from like metal and grime is similar. Like just people on the stage just absolutely losing their shit.
You know what it is? It's the reaction from the crowd is the same.
Yeah.
And I think why people don't understand metal, because they don't understand that world, or it seems maybe a bit closed off, and then vice versa, metal fans might not understand grime. And I think what dubstep did was bridge the gap.
Yeah.
Because essentially the fundamentals are the same. When it got kind of a bit stupid, when the Americans started liking it with that kind of big drop, it's no different than, I don't know, like a Pantera song, which is like building in energy for some sort of halftime drop. So when you see, like when I play festivals and stuff like that, rest in peace. But like last year, that's what I find really mad is mosh pits to anything now. Like,
they like mosh pit to Miley Cyrus, like, sort it out.
I played like Reading and Leeds Festival last year, and they were like mosh pitting to like Billie Eilish, just like they'll mosh to anything, and they'll mosh to like the real halftime. I mean, Drake songs and all that sort of stuff are real slow. I mean, they're halftime, so they're perfect for bouncing. But I think there's like that's what was really interesting about like club culture. I don't know when it happened, like 2016. Suddenly I was in a club and everyone was just forming circle pits and jumping into each other, which I'm a massive fan of because it's fun. Do you know what I mean? It's playful, and then everyone's getting their phones out. And I used to see when I used to go to metal shows when I was a teenager in the 90s, and it's amazing to see it branch over into a different culture.
Do you know why the mosh culture probably turned up in grime and just in mainstream clubs? Because I was that guy, right? When a certain tune comes on, like, I get so excited and like my energy, I just bounce off the walls, and I literally, like, people just fed up again, their drinks knocked out of their hands by me because someone played a song that resembled grime. And yeah, man. But
that's what was mad in 2016 when it came back again with like That's Not Me and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That is when you could play. That is when I could put on a grime night and play 4 or 5 hours of grime.
Yeah.
when like rhythm and gash was suddenly the beat.
Everywhere,
You know,
yeah.
like, and that beat was 10 years old by that point, and
Yep.
Stormzy's got a big part to play and all that sort of stuff. Like, that is when grime got accepted, and and that happened 12 years, 13 years later. If you haven't got a lineup with just pure MCs, like a Sidewinder or an Eskimo dance, and where it's just reliant on the tunes, like I have, you know, you can play like an hour and play just verse chorus of grime tunes, and there's enough that even like just the kind of side fan would be like, everything's there. You've got everything.
They know everything. Yeah,
they know like you'll know everything. So it proves like how long kind of the journey grime's had to take, and I don't even know where it goes sort of from here.
We're in a bit of a weird space now, because we've gone through the whole grime's dead. We've established that it's not dead, but it's still the subgenre, because you've got like your drills and all of these sorts of things that have kind of overtaken it. And the generation of the grime head is a little bit older now. So it is quite interesting to see what will happen beyond here.
Yeah, I wonder, like, I've heard that narrative that like, oh, you know, I'm late 30s, like basically in the doorstep of 40s. So I'm an old guy. Do you know what I mean? I don't like the old guy in the club sort of thing, whatever. But like all the people that follow, like if I was just to look and I scroll through the people that follow the page, man, they're not old guys. They're all like young kids in their 20s and stuff, and boys and girls of equal measure. And like, I just don't think it's good enough. I think when it gets good, then they'll just come back. I just think that sometimes, I always thought that Skepta's the best when he's outside of the public eye. Yeah. Like when he's the underdog, I think that's when he makes his, this is my opinion, of course, about Skepta, but like, I don't really, like the stuff that he does now doesn't really speak to me. But I always thought that when he was the underdog, so 03, 04, kind of 05, that's his like best period. And then his other best period is 2015, 2016, when no one was really thinking about him.
Yeah,
I agree.
So I think it could easily come back. I just don't think the quality is not there. And I think people are kind of obsessed with that like still the American stuff. And like, I guess like drill to a point is, if you're younger, like their sort of thing. I don't think it's got the diversity, but it's got the same aggression and realism. Well, it looks more real, I guess.
Yeah, more. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man. So have you got any more like interesting stories, like grime-wise, before we start simmering down?
Interesting stories, grime-wise.
What about a time when you've been starstruck? Have you ever been starstruck in grime?
Apart from the Wiley one.
I got starstruck by seeing Ears. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was just like, I remember like, my brother is in the music business now. Yeah. And even like, and he knows like Target and Danny Weed and stuff like that, and has worked with them and all these sort of guys. And even then I'm just like, I'll be with him and like Danny Weed will text him and I'll just be like, whoa. I mean, that's kind of mad to me. And I mean, like first time, I've still got pictures of first time we like met Skepta and JME. And yeah, I just have, so I think it's because I have such huge respect for him. Like, I just think, you know, I don't know how, like it's the invention and the desire to do something, and so they don't have any sort of foundations. They just got to do it, and they've got to figure out how to make a record or press a record.
Yeah, music house. They've
got to figure it out, or they've got to become mates with like Wiley, and Wiley's got to teach them about mastering. Or all of them. Like, I remember booking, when I had the birthdays, I started booking loads of grime again around that time. And I booked a lot of the artists that I loved that weren't necessarily big. Like Trim is like my top favorite grime MC.
Yeah, Trim's sick.
And I bought, like, Trim came down and played. and like Rapid came down, and I just think they're just bad boys still. I just think they're amazing. That's what's awesome is when I started posting, I think like Shifty from Bristol messaged me. He was like, "What's this tune? It's a freestyle of his," and he was just like, "How have you got this?" And then I remember Dirty Danger messaging me and being like, "How have you got this tune?" And then I was talking to him, and he was just like, "Man, all of our old hard drives and stuff are gone.
Yeah,
so they don't exist." And then he was like, "Oh, send me a tune," and I was like, "Bro, I haven't got this on MP3. This is vinyl." I just like, he's like, "Oh yeah, send me an MP3, would you?" I was like, "This is the best you're gonna get. Me hanging my phone over. I'm not gonna do some mad converting vinyl into thing. I ain't got time for that."
That could be a service though that you run. You know,
What,
are you a grime producer? The advert. Are you a grime producer? Have you lost your hard drive? Well, grime white labels might be able to help.
I need to start a collective. Another guy messaged me yesterday. He was like, "You know what? Between my collection, your collection, and Spooky's, I think we would have every grime record ever created." And he was like, "Oh, we should go and do a mix." And I was like, "That mix would be like 30 minutes long." Like, we would need to book out like 3 weeks.
Yeah, man, that's wicked. Right, have you got any more questions written down, or are we gonna go with the?
No, you're good.
Yeah, no, we're gonna start winding it down a little bit. But we're gonna ask some questions that we ask all guests that we have on Grammy Reality in My Ends. And I think the first one is then top 5 MCs. Yeah, top 5 MCs.
All right, I'm not going to put them in order.
Oh yeah, no order.
All right, Wiley.
Yeah.
Skepta.
Yeah.
P Money.
Great MC.
Trim. I love Trim.
Yeah.
One other. Oh my God. You know what? It'll be somebody smaller. Like I loved Breeze. Breeze from Roll Deep was always one of my favorites.
Oh shit! Shout out to Breeze.
I never got him. Like I heard him and I didn't think he was shit, but yeah, so is that your fifth? Is Breeze your fifth?
Just give me a second.
BR double.
Oh God. Dirty Dukes.
Yeah. Especially back in that early time, Dirty Dukes was an absolute monster.
Real.
I think the challenge with him is that actually he's not really like there's not many like records of his, like he didn't really put out loads and loads of stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone can really
lyrically
go against him.
Yeah.
His flow is insane. His flow is, you can do anything.
Yeah.
All right. I'm happy with that. What did I say? Wiley, P Money.
Wiley, Skepta, P Money, Trim, and Dirty Dukes.
Damn, sorry, Breeze. If you're listening, sorry, Breeze.
Breeze is sick though. Like, I think Breeze would be happy with that, man.
He would.
The fact that he got mentioned.
Definitely.
What's your
DWE.
Oh, okay, yeah, DW.
No. It's Priest. It's DWE, Wiley, Gizzy Rascal, Skepta, and then Gets. Replace Skepta with Kano.
I was driving to like Sainsbury's today, and I had a random thing, like an old Spotify thing came on, and their Gets tune came up called "Who's on the Panel."
Oh,
do you remember that? And there was like an MTV show, and they rated, I don't know, like Chantal Fiddy and all that sort of stuff, and they did like the top 10 MCs, and they debated it, and then Gets wasn't on it. Professor Green was on it, and then he made a tune the next day, and I was like, "Boy!" And he's just like angry at everyone. I really hope he doesn't listen to this. I DJ'd a New Year's Eve party about 3 years ago, and Getz came and did like a PA when he did that.
You wearing a fur coat?
No, he wasn't. He did that EP with Rukid.
Yep.
So 2 years ago, and he didn't have a DJ, so he asked me to be his DJ, and it was a New Year's Eve party in Shoreditch, and he did like he bought a CD with the new tunes from the EP and stuff, and then he was like, let's just do beats, let's just like MC and stuff, and there's some Footer guy was there, and there's other guys, and like halfway through, he'd literally come from his lounge, because he was in his hand, he still had his like TV controller. Like he was like drawing, and I was like, and he suddenly realized he was like holding his like TV controller from his skybox,
from his pocket.
Yeah,
that's jokes.
Just get up and go, man.
Yeah, man. So, all right, this is a grime podcast, but beyond the grime, who are your favorite 5 rappers? Because you spoke a lot about hip hop. Because I'm just intrigued now. Because I love my hip hop boom bap as well.
all right. Inspector Deck from Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
Oh my God, why'd you do this to me? Can you name yours quickly?
In hip hop, God, blimey. I always give out these questions and I refuse to answer them. Even like the polls that I do on our Instagram and stuff. Like, in hip hop,
I'll answer it quickly. Jay-Z, Biggie, Busta Rhymes, Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg?
Yeah, Snoop Dogg. Not the best technically, but something about one of his albums, man.
Yeah, Doggy Style,
Doggy
was
Style.
incredible.
Even the last meal, banger. Number 5 on that list, probably Lauryn Hill, man.
Lauryn Hill, yeah, that album is incredible. And because she hasn't done too much after that, that is the only thing you get to judge her on, and that was an incredible album. For me, I do love Biggie. Do you know the only thing is, you see these questions, for me, they're very loaded, because it's like, who do I enjoy listening to the most? Or who do I think is lyrically the best? Like, if I'm going just on my personal favorite and like rappers, Biggie, definitely. I put arguments forward that Eminem is probably the best rapper to ever live.
Put those arguments forward, man.
The thing about for me, Eminem, I don't like doubt his like abilities, but he makes terrible beats, and and like I don't think he's really made like I
haven't liked a song since Encore. Yes. I haven't liked a song that he's made since Encore, but up until Encore, guy was incredible. Like some of his so his first verse in Shit on You is probably one of my favorite verses just in life ever. Like, he's so clever, he's so witty. I don't know who else I really like on that level. I mean, there are some rappers, actually, I do love Kendrick Lamar. Like, and I know that's like a really cliche person to put in like my top, but I think Kendrick makes incredible music.
Mine, I think I've figured nearly mine out. Slick Rick is one of my favorites.
Slick Rick the Ruler.
Slick Rick
is sick.
Yeah, so Inspector Deck from Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
He's like the Breeze. He's like Breeze from Roll Deep, like not celebrated as much as he should be. Be Real from Cypress Hill.
Yeah. He's actually really underrated.
Yeah. Oh God.
Did you say Slick Rick or?
Yeah, Slick Rick. I think Slick Rick might be my favorite.
And he's English.
Yeah. God, that's such a good question, man. Havoc from Mobb Deep.
Not Prodigy,
yeah.
Havoc.
I like Havoc more than Prodigy.
Okay. Yeah. Because not Havoc.
KRS-One. KRS-One.
Yeah, KRS-One.
Boom bap.
Purist.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
I don't.
I loved DMX.
DMX is good.
If we're talking about just love, like that first DMX record, I know like every lyric.
DMX is sick.
Yeah. It's not like Jay-Z's not in, like Jay-Z's not in it. Like a lot of like Nas isn't in it.
Yeah, I understand Nas.
Do you know the funny thing is, yeah, I do like Nas and he makes good songs, but I promise, like, nothing beats Illmatic for me. And that's just it. Like, Illmatic is probably
Still, man.
definitely Stillmatic's not as good as Illmatic, man. Like, bearing in mind, I came to hip hop late. Like, I was a grime head, and I didn't really want to listen to hip hop. Like, I was embedded in this culture, and I only learned about hip hop quite late when we was going through that kind of grime is dead era. And my friend's brother gave me Biggie's Ready to Die album.
Sick.
And he gave it to me, and it sat in my record player, CD player for about 6 months, maybe even a year. Didn't play it, and one day I was listening to Rinse FM, and something happened to the like they went down or something like that. And I thought I was playing Pro Evo, and I was like, oh, let me just press play on this CD that's been sitting in there for all of this time. And I never looked back. And then I started to learn about Nas and Illmatic and all of these classic hip hop. And yeah, that's my journey in hip hop. But
my favorite is Kanye. Kanye is still he's still, and that doesn't really make any sense because I don't really like a lot of rap after 2000, honestly.
Yeah.
But I just, he's an idiot and like all that sort of stuff. He's like Wiley in many ways. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah, very much so. Absolute genius.
Yeah, they walk that tightrope.
Yeah, and I sort of I accept it, and I think the more stuff he does, the better it gets. Like Yeezus is my favorite, but most people are just like, I don't get it. Well, I was like, that's like a genius record.
Spud me through the camera, mate. Listen, Yeezus. I was having this conversation with my missus literally about 2 or 3 days ago. Most people write off Yeezus. Like, I was listening to another podcast, not going to say no names, but they done a Drake versus Kanye comparison, album for album, and they put not enough respect on Kanye's name. And when it came to Yeezus, they kind of just were like, well, there's no point in even going through this album because no one cares about this album. Just
what? It's
I've got on my personal Instagram account, right, when that album came out, I didn't know it was coming out. And I remember it was a Sunday, right? And do you know on ITV3, they have like that little 1 minute news? Yeah. And I was getting ready to go out. I was going kosher, right? And there's like, oh yeah, Kanye West's new album. I was like, wait, what? Kanye's got a new album? So I've gone and downloaded it legally. And I listened to it. And I was just blown away. Like, the sounds, everything was just, it sounded analog, and it was just in your face, and it was just like, wah, wah, wah. I was just like, this is fucking incredible. Yeah. And there's a reaction from me, like, just going, Kanye fucking West, this new album is incredible. I'm glad that, yeah, anyway.
It sits in its own lane, man. There's like nothing's really comparable. Unless you start like digging into like weird, like super underground rap and stuff.
Yeah.
Like no mainstream rappers made a weird, glitchy, noisy, soulful. And then I think
with,
those
like,
are people
Jamaican
sort of
influence as well in there.
Oh my God.
The closest you'll get is Tyler.
Yeah.
The closest you'll get is Tyler.
Yeah, closest you get is Tyler. Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe NERD, but then it's funny because I'm having this conversation. My missus, she loves Tyler the Creator and NERD. And between Kanye, and the three of them kind of, they all intertwine and make sense with each other.
Yeah, they're all leaders, man. I don't think they follow, all those three in particular don't follow any like Pharrell is like my top 5 producers, top 3.
Like you read my mind.
You know,
I was gonna ask you.
Like when he was doing like Super Thug Noriega, that weird sort of and that snare sound and
Yep.
that's a grimy tune. Like, and that tune Grimy with Noriega, all the stuff he did with Noriega. I mean, that's like Timbaland, and I think if you were to look at proper grime like producers, the influence of like Pharrell and Timbaland in particular,
Of course.
so it's just all over it. Low Deep, all of them guys. Like, it's just, it reeks it. It's amazing.
I'll never forget back in the day when we were all just getting into producing, and it was discovered that Try Again by Aaliyah
I was just
was
about
made
to
on
say that.
Fruity Loops, and everyone was like, "What? He made this on this program that we just downloaded from the internet. We can make Try Again." And one of the demo songs was Aaliyah Try Again, so you could see how it was made. And oh man, ever since that moment, the inspiration was there.
Then you just got to figure out how to make a fucking beat like that, which is like, whoa, it's so simple. Which is, if you look at like Ghetto Coyote and all those sort of ones, they're so simple.
Yeah.
It's like an 8-bit harmony of a flute or something, and it's so simple. And if you listen to a lot of Timbaland beats, they're just off key sometimes and a bit off center, and don't get me started.
Yeah, no, Timbaland's definitely like that. And the Grime's influence does come from America, man. We did listen to a lot of that stuff, and that's kind of where we benefit. I feel like a lot of the American music has lost itself. But I feel like as long as you've got characters like Wiley who can maintain it, even though I'm not the biggest fan of his social media antics and everything he does, if he carries on with the creative brilliance, I think that will be good, man. I think that we're not going to follow the same path that Americans did with hip hop.
So what do you think of modern American hip hop?
I think that the younger generation just hype up a lot of trash. Like you said, you talk about house earlier, it's like drop porn, like just waiting for the drop, just that you're waiting for it, and it's hype built on absolutely nothing. It's hype built on merchandise, built on clothes, built on everything, but just gas, just pure gas. Like Travis Scott, I don't understand why Travis Scott, one of the biggest. For a rapper to have a shoe used to be a massive thing. Now it's like, okay, you rap, you can have a crepe, or you're into. It's like, it's just so. Everyone's just the same, and everyone just sounds the same. And Roddy Ricch and this person and this person, it's like you all blending into one. It sounds nonsense, man. It's not good. It's not good. The state of hip hop is not good at the the moment.
100%.
No, I would agree with that. I think Spotify.
But we are the old heads.
I think, I mean, you're always going to sound like an old guy when you talk like that. But I think Spotify has a big part to play in that, because I think that the songs are getting shorter. Like rap songs are like 2 minutes, 20 seconds, that sort of stuff. And sometimes it starts with the chorus.
Yeah.
And if you talk to any of my like proper full-time hip hop DJ mates, they're having to mix. Like you can't be playing a tune for more than 50 seconds a minute.
There's no toilet. There's no toilet songs anymore.
Yeah, it's literally because exactly. It's just like banger, 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 and then but no one knows the second verse, and there's maybe not even a third verse.
Yeah, and that's crazy to me, because like a song was traditionally is like a 8 to 16 bar intro, maybe a chorus, maybe a verse, depending, and then 16 bars, chorus, 16 bars, chorus, 16 bars, maybe a chorus, or it finishes or whatever, but 3 verses.
But I do kind of like the distortion of those old, kind of, this is how it's set out tropes, because if we didn't break away from that, we never would have grime in the first place.
Of course.
But it's tunes like one of the tunes that really blew my mind and kind of injected me with a bit of life for grime and for the UK urban scene, if you want to call it that. Octavian, Party Here.
Yeah,
It was all over the place. it was slow, it was fast, it was a skank tune. It was short, but it still had an injection of new life, and I was reinvigorated once again, man. And I had faith in the youngers. I was like, okay, with him, with Jevon Official, with Jen, with Rosa,
Do you know who does that as well? Jafro.
Jafro
definitely does that. He makes you, oh, I don't know how else to describe it, but just like a little head. Oh, you have to just, yeah.
I think what's interesting is it's just like never has like UK. I don't like the phrase urban, but they'll call it urban music has been in the top 10 that, you know, AJ Tracy can just do anything. It'll go to number 1 or H or whatever. But that's the problem is that they just we'll have to go through another like 2 years before it drops off again, and that's because no one's really originating, because the pressure is, well, there's money there now.
Yeah.
So it makes like I said, like I think all of the good music comes from when you're not being.
Well, at least the music now is a little bit more authentic than when Skepta tried to make tunes like Bad Boy. And
my favorite thing sometimes to do is to get into like a YouTube zone and then find 2010, 2011 videos when Grimax tried. I saw one which I'd never seen before from Scratchy, where
she does the brain in every other day. She keeps complaining. That one.
Yeah,
I love that. Girls, they do my nothing. I
Yeah.
actually love that tune, you know. And I was chatting to him about it.
That's mad, that tune. And then there was another one which Skepta did with Kano, and they're all wearing like neon, and they're all like rollerblades in a car park, and there's loads of girls just sort of in like crop tops and short skirt. It's just like, what is going on here, man? People lost their way.
Rolex squeak.
That Ed Hardy
scene
scene
with me. Oh,
Ed Hardy.
That was awful. But
anyway, sorry, man. I talked for ages about this. Sorry.
Listen, that is what this platform is here for. Like, that is what we are here for, to give everyone a voice. Like, if you love grime, we love you, and without fans, this scene does not exist. Like,
wait, I've got a question.
Go on.
Are you hopeful for the future of grime, Tom?
Yeah, always, man. Always. Yeah.
Who do you have your eye on? Who do you think the boomers are passing the torch on to? He's stressed again.
That's so stressful. The thing is, like, a lot of the people that I really liked are probably not the new guys, like PK and stuff like that.
Buckle.
Oh my God. I don't know if I'm in the right state to even answer that. Can I text you?
Yeah, man. Cool, nice.
What do you think? Right? What do you think? Sorry, my question to you guys. What do you think about Stormzy?
I think Stormzy struggled to get out the gates for his second album. I think it sounded a lot like his first album, and I was like, I don't even want to hear this. Wiley Flow got me hype. Everything else after that was just more of him singing, and the tunes with Ed Sheeran I wasn't a fan of. I was like, this is a shame, because he had a chance to kind of do something really different. I think he's just kind of done the same shit. It was like Gangsta's and Prayer Part 2.
Part 2. Do you know, it's funny because you said Stormzy's album, second album. I was like, oh, I can't really think of anything on that album.
What's it called? Heavy as the Head.
Heavy as the Head.
Yeah.
Funny thing is, I think in that album, he was a little bit of a victim of his past success. Because it's a good album, it's a solid album, but yeah, it was a bit like, okay, cool. Like, I can think of Wiley Flow, Bossy Bop. What else was on that album?
Heavy as the Head. No,
Heavy
Crown.
as the...
Crown.
What's the he done one with?
What's the Sounds of the Skeng? Is that on that one? Is that on that one, or is that something different? I think that a Spyro tune.
Yeah, the Spyro song. Yeah, he's got Spyro production and everyone. Spyro's absolutely ridiculously insane good producer.
Top of top, man. Top of top. with rest in peace,
Teddy Brockshot storming. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, that tune. Oof.
Wait, Storming's Teddy Brockshot.
Oh,
Storming
shut
is
up,
Teddy. Oh my God.
He's messing about.
No, I found out very late.
Did you?
Very
I knew.
late.
One of my first posts on the GRIME account was a tune where he either calls himself Teddy Brockshot or it's labelled as Teddy Brockshot, and it's like I don't know.
Run for cover.
Is it a Rossi B and Luca tune? Yeah.
Oh, I know.
It's Run for Cover, maybe.
Wait, because
he does that kind of like yardie flow.
Flow, because there's the Rossi B and Luca. What's it? I am a 1 in 10. Nobody knows. But then there was Run for Cover, which is Welcome to Jamrock remix and Teddy Brockshot, and it's top.
Who's on that? Yeah, he does the top of top. He does those kind of bars. Yeah.
I knew Teddy Brockshot was storming from that sort of era because I know someone who knows that was him. But yeah, Storming, rest in peace, man, absolute champion. But my opinion on Stormzy is that he is good for the scene because he's a mainstream celebrity now, isn't it? It's just interesting to see what happens. He's never going to please everyone, but he has brought grime to some spaces that I never thought I would see grime. Because all right, Dizzy Rascal was a grime MC and he blew all the way up. He didn't take grime to Glastonbury as such. Mm-hmm. Whereas he done main stage Glastonbury.
Yeah. I think I saw Dizzy at Glastonbury one time. You know what? A record that I slept on that I didn't think was like good or whatever was Rasket. And I've gone back to that and I think it's amazing. I think when I've been doing this grime account thing, I was never like a massive Dizzy fan lyrically, apart from like the obvious.
Yeah.
But I think I have a deeper appreciation for him than ever before in the last like 6 months. And I've gone back to that record and I think it's amazing. I don't know about the beats, but lyrically it's unbelievable.
Yeah. Like we actually reviewed it on the podcast ages ago, like when it came out. And I remember there was a few songs that we liked and there was a lot that kind of went over our head. But as you said that you've revisited it, maybe I will revisit it. I listened to Boy in the Corner today. Me and the missus was doing our little home workout and listening to that today. Great fucking album, that.
Oh man, when I posted Stop That yesterday, and then I went to that Dizzy show in East London with the.
You was the reason why I listened to Dizzy today, by the way.
Actually,
now that I think about it, I saw Stop That and I was like, yeah, I'm listening to Dizzy Rascal tonight.
Yeah. And then I went to that Copper Box Arena show when he did the whole of Boy in the Corner. And then I found a video of when he did Stop That. And he only reloaded it twice. And honestly, it was one of the most insane. When I post the vocal, which I'll do in a month or so, I'll post that video because that was one of the like highlights of my life.
I can imagine. So one of our hosts, a guy called Mac, who's not here today, but one of the team, he was there. And he done the quiz that they was doing outside. Did you see there was someone going around. It might have been Link Up. I'm not sure who it was, but someone's going around with a camera and they was quizzing people on like Dizzy Rascal knowledge. And the amount of people that got questions wrong was ridiculous.
Oh man, about half that crowd were just there just because it was the ticket to buy.
Yeah.
And what was weird, when those album shows where they perform the album front to back are kind of weird because they're often heavy loaded. So the first 10 tunes are all of them. And then it kind of gets into the ones that are kind of, which I really like Seems to Be and stuff.
Yeah.
But then the energy just dropped in the venue, like for the last 3 songs, because no one true fans know them, but like your average people who come to see Just a Rascal and all that sort of stuff.
OG, pimp, hustler, gangster player, hardcore motherfucker living today. And to be honest, I am totally and completely on his dick.
That tune is... I listened to that tune yesterday. And I remember watching that tune and being like, this needs to be more hype for this tune. I just like, it's the end of the album. People maybe not got that far.
Yeah. All right, cool. So we are actually gonna wrap it up because I do need to like it's Miss's birthday in all of about 57 minutes.
Yeah.
But another question we like to ask all of our guests is, and you've kind of answered some of these questions. Top 5 producers, like grime producers.
Yeah, that's not too difficult. Johnny Cash, Spooky, Da Vinci, Terror Danger, Wiley.
Cool. I heard Terry's getting better, starting to get better as well. Because he was ill, wasn't he?
I knew he was in a coma, I think.
Yeah.
But
I've heard that he's. I saw him on Twitter the other day, actually. So yeah, man, that's good to see that.
Guy is. He blows my mind because you listen to his productions from like, I think he's our Timbaland, but like Timbaland, and who could then also do a million other different styles. His head is in the future in terms of what he does.
Him and DOK, like that whole
DOK,
like. Yeah, man, Creepy Crawler, like just Aftershock. Aftershock really like heavy hitters, like to the people who don't really know about grime as such, like Aftershock, who's Aftershock? Oh, Bruiser, that guy that sounds funny. But when you actually look at what Aftershock have done, like incredible. Even like the most baked grime tune, I Can See You, yeah.
Wow, that beat is insane. Oh, I'd like to do a podcast just on the smaller crews. Like Essentials were always my favorite. Essentials were my favorite. And
even Snap Keto.
The hype. That's Bossman's brother.
Remedy's brother, innit? Remedy's Bossman. Or are they all brothers? I don't know, but yeah.
Remedy was the tall one, right?
Yeah,
but yeah. Kidman. If he's even, I love him if he was on Instagram or whatever, but no one's even point.
Kidman, bad man from Broccoli.
Oh my god! Like I said, that tune, that Jam and Da Vinci tune, and it's K. It's just
K.
You
don't want to rock us right, K.
You've seen the Rhythm Division set where they do. I think they do that tune. They do Jenny, and then they go into then they just freestyle over like Bongo Eyes or something like that. And honestly, it's the most hype 15 minutes ever. It's the best 15 minutes ever.
Yeah, man.
I think it's on Aim High. Aim High.
Yeah, the smaller. There are a lot. Like again, Rough Squad. Also, really, really quickly, have you seen the Flirta D documentary?
Oh, what?
So I posted it on our Insta today. Right, I came across it by accident. There's like a guy, an American guy, who was reviewing Microsoft Word by Getz that came out the other day, and his review is so hilarious. And I was just going through his reviews, and he's got a review of a documentary called Flirta D, the guy who makes noises. I'm going to send you the link once this is done, right?
Do you rate Flirta D?
Yeah. Like
you rate Flirta D?
I do rate Flirta D. The guy who made the documentary super rates Flirta D, and he kind of converted me to super rating Flirta D. Do you rate Flirta D?
Yeah, man. I mean, no, I rate anyone that sounds completely different. I mean, like, that is mad what he does. Who kind of comes up with that?
I'm going to send you the link to this DVD. So, the DVD to the documentary, but it's good. And anyone listening, it's called Flirta D, the guy who makes noises. It's a good documentary. Well put. Some of the facts are a little bit annoying. Like he tried to say Shizzle and Napa were in SOK, which kind of annoyed me a little bit. And
they weren't in it, but they weren't in any crew really, were they?
No, that East Connection, if it was anything.
If anything.
And just little inaccuracies, but on the whole, it's a really good documentary, and it definitely helped me to see Flirta in a new light. Not that I didn't rate him, because I always liked him, and he surprised me in that clash they had with Kano. That he actually because when you look at it on paper, Flirta D versus Kano, Flirta D should have no chance, And Kano did beat him, but Fleur D came a lot harder than I thought he would. But yeah, man, the last question that we're gonna ask, and we ask it to everyone, and from what you've said to us so far, you either gonna answer this question so quickly and it's not gonna be a problem for you, or it's gonna send you into absolute meltdown. So, the Godfather himself, Wiley. You know, there's like two Wileys basically. There's Wiley the MC, and there's Wiley the producer. One of those people, who is the same person, has to be deleted. So we losing everything Wiley's ever done lyrically, or everything Wiley's ever done production-wise.
I would delete the MC.
See, I thought you would say that.
Yeah.
And I thought you would find it that simple. Like, it's either one or the other.
Yeah, I could listen to his instrumentals all day long. All day long. Yeah.
Even when he started making like those halftime songs, like the beats where they just break down, it goes dun 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 dun. What was that song? Was Tunnel Vision the first time he done it?
Oh, I love that tune. Like, I didn't realize, I knew Fanis, you know, he did all these devil mixes where he basically took out the beat and it was just, he just upped the bass and and then he stopped calling them devil mixes because he thought that something happened to him or something, and he got superstitious.
Yeah.
So he started changing them to bass mixes.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I only learned that like last week or something. I was like, man.
I'm sure I saw that in like some interview that he done with someone or another. But yeah, I do remember hearing that. But have you read his book, by the way?
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
I've read every Grime book. And
so,
yeah.
I've got Grime kids. Wait, every Grime book. What other books are there? Because I know of about 3 or 4.
I think the and I'm just looking up now. The best. So I've read like Targets and
I've got that. I haven't read it yet, but yeah.
I think the best book is a guy called Dan Hancock's, and he wrote a book called Inner City Pressure: The Story of Grime.
Okay.
And I'm nearly finished it now. He follows the Grime account, and I actually messaged him last week being like, this is the best book on Grime I've ever read, because the story of Grime involves like politics, it involves New Labour, it involves the closure and New Labour's plans to gentrify East London and all that sort of stuff. So that the book is so in depth, whereas like Target and Wiley's, it's just all over the place, and Target's is a bit just like, it was cool, we released this and then we kind of did this and that was cool, and then we went on radio and that was also cool, and then we couldn't believe people listened to us, so that was cool. Whereas, anecdotal is more like anecdotal. Yeah, and it doesn't really give me like, I'm interested in the context of how Grime can exist like economically and socially as well, which is nerdy of me. But Inner City Pressure: The Story of Grime.
I've got that, and I am probably going to order it.
It's absolutely amazing. And then like Hattie Collins is not bad as well. The oral history. This is Grime. That's all right too.
Wicked, man. So I think we're about ready, even though we could chat for like days because you have a Grime head. Yeah, maybe we just have to schedule in like a part 2.
Yeah, I need to sit in front of my collections, and when you ask me, I can just draw for them and be like, no, let me think.
Yeah, man. Man. Cool. I think we're about ready. So everyone that's still with us, Grime White Labels, aka Tom. Everyone's friend on MySpace.
Thank you, man.
Thank you very much, man. That
appreciate
conversation. No, we appreciate your time, man. And I hope all your friends and family and stuff are still safe in this crazy time that we're in at the moment.
Yeah, man, they're all good.
And yeah, man.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Peace out.
Peace, man.
Bye.